Yo, good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening in, wherever you're listening from. Shout out to my Spotify listenership, Apple and Google Podcasts, and YouTube if you're watching in. Thanks for giving me a reason to get dressed. Coming live from my voice to your phone, headphones, TV, or car stereo. Your attention could have been anywhere in the world, but it's here right now. Take a moment to be present and recognize that it's now, right now. Whether your right now is working, running, exercising, cleaning, flying, laying down, driving, be grateful we're alive. Failure can be frightening. However, as Winston Churchill reminds us, success is all about going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. This is I Will Not Lose podcast, where we set out to prove everything is learned from failure, and we must persevere and recognize it as one step closer to success. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz. Let's jump right in. Thread carefully. Looking at Meta's attempt to weave a new social space. I know I don't normally talk about current events, but I was on Just a Phase this weekend. If you haven't checked out his show, check it out on YouTube. It's Just a Phase. It's a live show. It's a little bit of a different format. So we just kind of went off the top and chatted for a good hour. And it was nice after not dropping an episode last week, which was the holiday week. I just needed to recharge. So I hit the beach for a little bit, got my toes in the sand, and got to hit reset on everything. So we're back and a whole lot's happened. But one of the topics we talked about on It's Just a Phase was threads. And it got me thinking about how imitation is the highest form of flattery. You can't always lose if you're being imitated. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the theme of imitation, especially in the world of tech and social media. And I mean, it seems to be like in tech or in social media, why create when you can steal? We haven't really seen any new social media come out. 2016 or 15, when with Snapchat, you could kind of call that the beginning of the video, the beginning of the TikTok generation, But if you think about it, Reels and all that stuff that's on Facebook and Instagram, that was stolen right from Snapchat as soon as that started to get popular. So is this going to be another Twitter-like platform? Does this have any wings? Is it going to stick around for a little bit? FaZe thinks the name is stupid, doesn't think it's going to stick around simply because of that, as well as some other reasons. But so what is it? Threads is Facebook's new Twitter-like platform. It launched on the 5th of July. We're currently recording this on the 9th, and so far there's 80 million users on it. So people are adopting this fast. What is it? I mean, it's literally Twitter. So it's a text-based social platform. You link your Instagram and follow everybody that you would follow on Instagram, and then they show up in this text base, and then you can kind of just start a chain of threads or tweets, whatever you want to call it, underneath that person's thread. So it's kind of like a mixture between a forum. It's literally Twitter. If you're familiar with Twitter, it's just like that. It's like an absolute clone. So they being Meta and Facebook, claim that they want to get away from internet fighting and have this as kind of a safe place that you can just be yourself. So there's their expectation of what they think it's going to be. And then there's when it hits the internet, we'll see if that tranquility lasts and if people aren't savage. My experience with it so far, there's definitely been people posting some dumb stuff and then people really flaming them in the comments. So I don't know if they're just going to promote positive content. That might be a smart marketing move to promote positive content. Right now it's ad free. So who knows if it's going to stay like that. But this is not the first time something's attempted to come along and be the new Twitter. There's been instances like Mastodon or Blue Sky. Mastodon in the March of 2016 had maybe 2.5 million users. And it's down to maybe 1.8 million now. So did it become the new Twitter? Statistics would say no, but I believe it's still a thing. The marketing seems like it's become we're the new Twitter alternative. This is a new decentralized platform. And the thing about it is so many of them came out, so many Twitter alternatives, and they're still being marketed. They don't kind of stand on their own, but people spread their attention. They don't know if they're following. So influencers aren't sure if they're going to post to Mastodon or Blue Sky or both. And people spread their attention between the two of them. So it's kind of splitting their attention. They don't really get that full, deep enthrallment that every social media is looking for. You know, they want it to be like crack. They want you to be going back and checking your phone and refreshing all the time. So they're looking to do that. We'll see whether it happens. So the idea of imitation versus innovation. Everything is derivative. You know, there's always some preceding, even with notes and chords. We were talking about that on the podcast. There's only so many chords. So, you know, Ed Sheeran recently won that lawsuit where they're trying to say, you know, we own these chords. You can't play these. And they went back to, you know, the 1600s, to Gregorian chants that use similar chords to pop music. So you could argue everything is derivative, but as it stands right now, as of the 9th, there's a cease and desist flying from Twitter to Threads to Meta saying, hey, you know, you guys essentially stole our platform. And they're worried. So the fact that, I mean, 80 million users, that is no joke. That means this is essentially a 2-player game. It's really Twitter versus Threads. And if you looked on Twitter, Twitter versus Threads is trending. So you can't get away from the conversation. So the idea of not always losing when you're being imitated. Snapchat didn't necessarily lose out when Reels and stories came out, which were essentially snaps. It got more popular. You know, it was marketing for Snapchat because whenever you're called an alternative, you get free marketing and people get to check out both. They get to see, okay, what makes this unique? The idea, the hashtag or trending topics, you know, Twitter has trending topics. Reddit eventually evolve those. I don't know if Reddit had trending first or what. I think I got my timeline right that it was kind of a Twitter thing, and Reddit, which was the older social platform, really changed a lot of its stuff based on the new social media. It hasn't adopted completely to mobile just yet, but it's still a huge player in terms of where people spend their attention online. So that's what the competition is. That's the role of competition and imitation. People, if you make something easier to use and you get them engagement, people are going to use their platform. So part of what I'm seeing is influencers are saying that when they post on Threads, they're getting more engagement than they got on Instagram. So they're looking to move their content over there. Nobody knows what this is going to be when it grows up. Nobody knows if it's going to be memes, if it's going to be recipes, food pictures. We're going to see what the algorithm pushes, and we're going to see people are going to change what they post based on what people interact with. So not sure. It's kind of the wild, wild west right now. Is it going to last? This is the question that everybody's asking, and probably why you tuned into this. Nobody knows. Obviously, 80 million people can lose interest in a month or so and just not be posting or using the platform. Ads haven't been added yet, so that's going to change the experience. If people feel that this just becomes another playing ground for people to promote their stuff and just get pounded with sponsored ads, it's probably doesn't have a chance of lasting like it would. Like FaZe said, does the fact that it doesn't have the greatest name mean anything for whether or not it's going to last? Was this really thought out, and do they have a runway and a game plan and a tech launch rollout? Or did they just say, hey, we can copy this while Twitter's in the news, people don't like it, now might be the perfect time in the marketplace to drop something new? You know, this isn't necessarily bad for Twitter. I mean, sure it is if users are going to spend their attention on Threads and say it's one or the other. I wasn't a huge Twitter user. I'm down to check Threads out. There's probably a lot of people like me everybody who uses it isn't necessarily giving up their Twitter to use it. And we're talking about Twitter now. I haven't talked about Twitter in years. So the fact that it's part of the conversation, it's not really losing. This is something that they can spin out to say, hey, we've reformed this, we've done this. Maybe they go back to bare bones. Maybe they go back to bare bones Twitter. Maybe they shift their algorithm towards what people like to see on Threads. And now you're just getting the same thing. It almost feels like a third-party reader app. It's so much like Twitter. I mean, it feels like you're just reading Twitter and people are posting the same content that they're posting to other forums because they're not sure what their personality should be on this Threads yet. So I don't know. Tech critics like it. People are loving the app so far. Try it out yourself. Get your own experience. Drop something in the comments. Let me know what you think. You could drop your Threads username. I will follow you if you drop it in the comments on YouTube or in any of the reels that go out for this episode. So my prediction on the future, I think it has a runway. I think it, like anything, I don't know in today's day and age if it can last as long, but hey, if TikTok is caught on and doesn't look like it's going anywhere, I guess people have room in their attention span for another social platform. So, hey, the fact that the market is saturated with different social media and different ways to connect with people, that might pull people's attention in a different, they might not even try Threads, but who knows? Let's see what we got. In conclusion, announcements, Conscious Beautiful grand reopening is July 28th. That's on 1101 Hamilton Street in that Hamilton Business Center with the colored flags on the outside. It's, I don't remember the suite number. I'll get that and update you guys in the future. I'll be pronouncing that. Same day, July 28th, Andrew Schultz is coming to Wind Creek. So that's going to be a pretty crazy day for me. Just saw Bill Burr last week. That was a great show. So if you get a chance, he's on tour. If you get a chance, go see him. That was well worth it. So I would encourage you to explore Threads, form your own opinion about it, and let's start the conversation. If you want to follow me, I'm at Tio the Designer like I am on every other platform. But this has been I Will Not Lose podcast, where we set out to prove everything is learned from failure. We must persevere, recognize it as one step closer to success. To support the show, visit iwillnotlosepodcast.com, subscribe on your favorite podcast player, share the episode link, leave a comment. And if you're listening in and can't see the QR code, you can go to tiothedesigner.com/links. I've got a donate button up there. Your contribution is appreciated. Thank you for listening. Peace.